Dear students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Plant Physiology course with the discussion of adventitious roots. We were discussing the second group of adventitious roots in the subterranean or underground adventitious roots. Just to get our bearing, where are we? So this was the first kind, the subterranean adventitious roots, and in those subterranean we have two groups, the fibrous, which was a simple and there was not a great deal of discussion in that, and the next was fleshy adventitious roots that become thick and fleshy, tuber like, due to storage of food. And those fleshy have 6 different kinds. Of those we have already discussed 2 in the previous video, and those were the tuberous or root tubers or single tuber and fasciculated. So these were the 2 discussed in the previous video, and now we are going to discuss in this particular video the rest of the 4, and starting with palmate. We have palmate and then Negulos, moniliform, and finally annulated fleshy adventitious roots. So these are all subgroups or subcategories or types of subterranean fleshy adventitious roots. So the third one, palmate. Now these roots are more like the fasciculated tuberous roots that we have discussed in the previous video in case of dahlia. So they are thickened as the name indicates, palmate. So they are thickened like a palm of a human hand. So the reason for naming them palmate. And next is, since palm also bears fingers, so they have finger-like outgrowths as well. But this is a rare type and not a common type of tuberous adventitious roots, but mostly it is discussed in the books. And the example is orchids, and one of the plant is orchis. And though not exactly palm-like, the situation is somewhat like this. So we have this stem, and then we have these bunch of roots, thickened roots, and let's draw the top ones. These have somewhat finger-like outgrowths. So one root, and then we have another one, a thick root. So as you can see, it is more like the ones we have already seen in dahlia. Something like this. These are outgrowths. So they are spread, as you can see here. Let's draw another one. So as you can see, somewhat, not exactly, but you may have to just kind of visualize it, that they look like a palm of a hand, although there is nothing especially like that. But anyway, they somehow resembles. These are the simple adventitious roots or the normal adventitious roots, and these are those palmate roots. So in orchis they are found, these palmates, thickened like palm, and they also have a finger like outgrowths, and these are the 2 reasons for naming them palmate roots. The fourth one is Negulos. So Negulos adventitious fleshy roots. These roots, as the name indicates, nodules is for swelling. So these roots have swelling at their tips. So this is the reason for naming them Negulos. So these are a bunch of roots, and then their tip is quite swollen. So this is the situation. And these are Negulos roots with swollen tips. So you can draw them somewhat like this. So these are Negulos subterranean fleshy adventitious roots. So this is the stem and giving out adventitious roots. These are the simple adventitious roots without any storage of food, and these are those Negulos. And their example is Curcuma amada or amada, what's commonly known as mango ginger. So this is the example of Negulos roots which have swelling at their tips. You can also draw them somewhat like this. This is the stem, the underground stem, and you can show roots coming out of this underground stem somewhat like this. So these are normal roots with swelling at their tips. These are the other roots, simple. So this was a brief discussion of Negulos adventitious, fleshy adventitious roots. Negulos fleshy adventitious roots. The fifth one is moniliform. Moniliform or beaded, as their name indicates. These roots are fleshy, but they have swellings at regular intervals, and this is why they are named moniliform. These roots are found in grasses, for example, which are monocots, and also in dicots like Mamardica. So these roots are somewhat like this. So this is the stem and these are the roots. So you'll have to draw swellings at intervals. So swelling number 1 and then another swelling and so on. And then another branch. And similarly, let's draw one more to save time. So as you can see, these roots have swellings. They are fleshy, but the swellings are at intervals. So we have thickened region of the root, and then there's a thin region or normal, and then it again gets thickened and so on. So these are moniliform fleshy adventitious roots. So this was number 5, and we come to the end, and our 6th one was annulated roots, subterranean fleshy adventitious roots, the final type. As their name indicates, annulus. So we have annulus or annulus. This term is related to a ring-like structure. So these roots have regular ring-like swellings along the entire length of the root, and you can draw their diagram somewhat like this. So this is the stem, this is a normal adventitious root, and here we go. This is again a normal adventitious roots, and from here, so it is something like this. Just draw several rings in a series, one after the other, and then you can branch off at certain point. And they are somewhat pointed in the end, and this is another branch. So they also branch. They are made of swellings in the form of rings. So as you can see, these are all rings, and they form the roots. And their example of these roots, cephalus or psychotria, ipecac. So this concludes our discussion of fleshy adventitious roots, and also the first category, the major category, subterranean adventitious roots. Next we are going to discuss the partly subterranean roots. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.